Subscribe to Bisbo and press the bell icon. See boring news turn into enjoyable stories. Actors do it to look prettier. Doctors recommend it to fix defects. Now even iconic structures like the Taj are going in for facelifts. Surprisingly, it is the same Multani mitti or fuller's earth mixed with water, an age-old way to cleanse human skin and used extensively in Indian homes, that will be applied to the Taj Mahal this October, the first time its main dome will receive this treatment. Hundreds of workers will scale a scaffolding and use a nylon brush to apply 2 mm thick layers of the mix on the dome. Once it dries, it will be dusted away and the process repeated at least twice more. In all, this is the 6th time the Taj has undergone this facelift since it was first done in 1994. In 2019, just before Trump's visit, 4 minarets and the replica graves of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal were given the mud pack treatment. In 2014, authorities had to do it to get rid of pan and gutka stains on the interior walls. Defacing of historical monuments went to the extreme recently when Gartang Gali, a 150-year-old skywalk in Uttarkashi's Nilong Valley, which was reopened in September 2021 after 60 years, was within days defaced by tourists, with many engraving their names on the Shisham railing of this historic bridge. The Taj, however, has other challenges, and photographs show a noticeable deterioration in its condition over the last few years, despite the 4,000 square mile protective area around the site, the Taj Trapezium Zone, within which emissions are supposedly strictly controlled. But no, it is first assaulted by crop burning, a practice that continues to this day and remains a major cause of pollution in Delhi as well. Then by the burning of dung and hay or wood for cooking, and burning of rubbish right along the periphery of the monument. From smoke emitting from the hundreds of funeral pyres in nearby Varanasi, not to mention the acid rain coated in soot coming from Agra's oil refinery and tannery chimneys, and further eroded by atmospheric pollutants emitted by the city's ever-increasing car population. The use of electric vehicles inside the Taj complex and banning motor vehicles nearby the Taj can only do so much. Then untreated sewage and industrial waste released in the Yamuna river that flows right alongside the Taj creates nutrient-rich waters for bacteria that are picked up by the wind and deposited on the Taj's porous marble, coloring the milky white stone green. Then there is another worry of the structure collapsing altogether due to the decrease in the river's levels. Massive wooden planks resting on the base soil of the flowing Yamuna act as the foundations to the monument. This wood needs to be constantly moistened by the river's waters to keep it strong. With the water hitting its lowest point in 56 years because of a less discharge of water from Haryana, the foundations have shrunk and become weak, potentially leading to a disaster. Building a mini dam is a simple way to ensure that the water remains up to the required level. Not only will a barge add to the life of the Taj Mahal, but it would also beautify the surroundings with a waterfront. Unfortunately, the proposal has been stuck in a bureaucratic rut for quite a while now. Tired of the local government for failing to devise a preservation plan and for ignoring court-mandated legal emission limits, the Supreme Court in July 2018 made a dramatic statement to stir the Uttar Pradesh government out of its stupor. Either we shut down the Taj, demolish it, or you restore it. Considering the controversy surrounding the origins of the Taj, the present UP government might well be happy with option 2. Bill Clinton made an insightful remark during his visit to the iconic monument in the year 2000.
Pollution has done what 350 years of war, invasions, and natural disasters could not do.
India is not alone in its fight against pollution. London's St. Paul Cathedral, which served as a venue for Prince Charles and Diana's wedding in 1981, faced many of the same problems as the Taj, weathering even worse conditions, enduring over 200 years of coal-based pollutants. Sulfur dioxide and fine particles of carbon reached toxic levels and engulfed Britain's cities with the infamous smogs of the 1940s and 50s. However, the British government cleaned and restored it in a 15-year process in time for its 300th anniversary in 2011. It also benefited from expensive property prices in London that closed factories in favor of residential complexes. Today, Agra ranks 17th in the world's most polluted cities list compared to London, which comes in at 167. And there are just 3,691 centrally protected monuments and sites in India as compared to 8,900 in a much smaller UK. Places like the Golden Temple have also lost their luster over the years due to nearby air pollution. Similarly, rainwater has not only marred some of Ellora's paintings but also caused water damage to some caves. The iconic Charminar, which sits bang in the middle of Hyderabad traffic, had its peeling lime plaster restored by the Archaeological Society of India in March of this year. ASI is also responsible for restoring the Red Fort's Mughal-era elegance brick by brick. Over 400 post-independence era structures inside it were demolished, adding a further 35 acres of space to the fort's complex. In 2019, the Raigad Fort and Lona Crater Lake were among numerous sites that were allocated 600 crores for restoration and conservation, including for building access roads leading to the heritage sites. Similarly, restoration work on the 18th century Portuguese fort in Godbandar, Thane started in 2020. Mumbai's iconic Royal Opera House, after being closed to the public for 20 years, was restored back to its old glory in 2015. Identically, time seemed to be running out for the Mumbai Clock Tower at the turn of the century before it was restored over 9 years. Of course, Taj being the most iconic landmark of India, more attention will be paid to prevention rather than restoration. But the government finds itself in a Catch-22 situation. On the one hand, it needs to add stricter regulations to save the Taj from further degradation, while on the other, it cannot muzzle Agra's growing economy by putting strictures on industry. There's a saying which goes, the Taj Mahal is pinkish in the morning, milky white in the evening, and golden when the moon shines. Now, it is nothing but a 24-hour layer of yellowy brown. Bisbo's Limerick. The Taj has been forced to clean up its act. Years of pollution has its elegance subtract. A herbal cure will now make it pure. But can you do the same with your respiratory tract? Subscribe to Bisbo and click on the bell icon to get notified whenever Bisbo releases a new video. Sources of all our information is listed in the video description section.